It's official. Triple H's reign as WWE's creative mastermind is no longer the golden era everyone thought it was. What started as a promising takeover from Vince McMahon has now spiraled into something nobody saw coming. We're talking backstage meltdowns, talent revolts, and industry insiders whispering that the game himself might be losing control of his own empire. This isn't just wrestling drama anymore. We're witnessing the potential collapse of WWE's carefully constructed new image, and the fallout is about to get nuclear. The streets are buzzing with reports that multiple WWE superstars are privately questioning Triple H's leadership behind closed doors. Sources close to the situation claim there's been a series of explosive confrontations, with one particularly devastating incident involving AJ Styles' own son publicly calling out the company's booking decisions. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Industry insiders are now saying that what we're seeing isn't isolated incidents. It's a systematic breakdown of trust between talent and management that could reshape the entire wrestling landscape. Here's where the hype button comes in. If you're loving this explosive content and want to see more industry-shaking revelations like this, smash that hype button right now. Your support directly fuels our ability to bring you the hottest insider scoops that other channels won't dare touch. Every hype helps us dig deeper into the stories that matter most to you. The most shocking part? This chaos is happening while WWE tries to maintain its public image of creative renaissance. Behind the scenes, it's reportedly a completely different story. One that involves family drama, personal vendettas, and power struggles that make the old McMahon era look tame by comparison. Let's rewind a bit to understand how we got to this unprecedented meltdown. When Triple H officially took creative control from Vince McMahon, the wrestling world collectively exhaled. Finally, the man who built NXT's critically acclaimed brand would bring that same magic to the main roster. Industry veterans praised the move, fans celebrated online, and talent seemed genuinely excited about the future. It looked like WWE's creative renaissance was finally beginning. Triple H, born Paul Michael Levesque, wasn't just another wrestler turned executive. He was the cerebral assassin who understood both sides of the business, the art of storytelling and the politics of corporate wrestling. His NXT tenure had produced some of the most compelling wrestling television in decades, launching careers and creating moments that felt authentic rather than manufactured. When he stepped into Vince's shoes, expectations weren't just high, they were astronomical. The early signs were promising. Storylines became more nuanced, character development felt organic, and wrestlers seemed to have more creative freedom. Social media buzzed with praise for Triple H's new era, and even longtime critics admitted the product felt fresher. But according to sources familiar with the backstage environment, that honeymoon period was shorter than anyone realized. What nobody saw coming was how quickly the pressure would mount. Running NXT, a smaller brand with lower stakes, was completely different from managing WWE's massive main roster operation. The corporate expectations, the television demands, the constant scrutiny, it all started taking its toll faster than anyone anticipated. Insiders claim Triple H began showing signs of stress within months, becoming increasingly defensive about creative decisions and less open to collaborative input. The first cracks appeared when veteran wrestlers started privately expressing concerns about booking directions. These weren't public complaints, they were whispered conversations in locker rooms and backstage areas. Sources say some talent felt their characters were being mishandled, while others worried that Triple H's vision didn't align with their career goals. But everyone stayed quiet publicly, hoping things would improve. But here's where it gets even darker, and this is where the story takes a devastating turn that nobody could have predicted. AJ Styles, one of WWE's most respected veterans and a cornerstone of the company's credibility, found himself at the center of a booking controversy that would expose just how deep the problems really go. But the most shocking part wasn't AJ's frustration. It was his own son's public revolt against Triple H's creative decisions. According to multiple sources, AJ Styles has been increasingly frustrated with his booking under Triple H's regime. The phenomenal one, who once carried entire promotions on his back, has reportedly felt marginalized and underutilized. His recent losses, including a particularly devastating defeat in France, left him questioning whether Triple H truly understands his value to the company. But AJ, being the professional he is, kept his concerns private until his family decided they couldn't stay silent anymore. The nuclear moment came when AJ's son took to social media with a comment that sent shockwaves through the wrestling community. In what insiders are calling an unprecedented family revolt, he publicly criticized Triple H's handling of his father's career, essentially calling out the company's creative direction. This wasn't just a fan complaint. This was the son of a main event talent directly challenging WWE's leadership in a way that crossed every line of professional wrestling etiquette. Word on the street is that this public criticism caught Triple H completely off guard. Sources close to the situation claim he was visibly shaken when informed about the social media post, realizing that his booking decisions had created such frustration that a wrestler's family felt compelled to speak out publicly. The incident reportedly led to emergency meetings between Triple H and AJ, but the damage was already done. The wrestling world had seen that even the most loyal talent were reaching their breaking point. What makes this situation even more explosive is the timing. AJ Styles is reportedly set to continue his feud with Dominic Mysterio, but insiders claim the veteran wrestler is now questioning whether he wants to remain with the company long term. The fact that his own family has gone public with their frustrations suggests this isn't just about one bad booking decision. It's about a pattern of creative choices that have left one of wrestling's biggest stars feeling disrespected and undervalued. Then came the avalanche of insider revelations that painted an even more disturbing picture of what's really happening behind WWE's closed doors. Sources familiar with the backstage environment began sharing details that suggest the AJ Styles situation is just one symptom of a much larger problem plaguing Triple H's creative regime. Peter Rosenberg, WWE's own correspondent, made headlines when he publicly criticized former WWE star Matt Riddle's controversial comments about AJ Lee and CM Punk. But according to people close to the situation, Rosenberg's explosive rant wasn't just about defending colleagues. It was reportedly a calculated move to distance WWE from talent who might damage the company's reputation. Insiders claim this represents a new, more aggressive approach to managing public relations under Triple H's leadership. Matt Riddle carried himself like a jackass, made a bunch of mistakes, made a bunch of enemies, and now he still carries himself like a jackass, Rosenberg stated publicly. But sources say this wasn't just personal opinion. It was reportedly part of a broader strategy to publicly shame former talent who speak negatively about the company. The message was clear: cross WWE and face public humiliation from company representatives. The situation with Dakota Kai reveals another troubling pattern. The talented wrestler, who was released in May 2025, has yet to wrestle a single match since leaving WWE. During a recent Twitch stream, she admitted missing wrestling but needing breathing space after her WWE experience. Industry insiders claim her reluctance to return to wrestling immediately suggests her WWE departure was more traumatic than publicly acknowledged. "I miss wrestling, you guys. We gotta get back into it. It's just one of those things where it's been nice to have a little bit of a break," Kai said. But people familiar with her situation claim this break is actually recovery time from what sources describe as an emotionally exhausting work environment under Triple H's regime. Even more concerning are the reports about Tiffany Stratton's struggles with her current character direction. The WWE Women's Champion, currently in the midst of a 248-day reign, has publicly admitted that being a babyface is significantly more challenging than her previous heel persona. Sources close to the women's division claim this character change was mandated by Triple H, despite Stratton's obvious comfort and success as a villain. Being a heel is 10 times easier than being a babyface because you can mess up and you can fall on your butt and, that's totally fine as a heel, Stratton revealed in a recent interview. Insiders suggest this admission reflects broader frustrations among talent who feel their natural personas are being suppressed in favor of Triple H's creative vision. This isn't just about wrestling anymore. What we're witnessing is a cultural implosion that could reshape how the entire sports entertainment industry operates. The ripple effects of Triple H's alleged creative struggles are being felt far beyond WWE's locker rooms, with industry veterans, media personalities, and even talent families speaking out in ways that would have been unthinkable during previous eras. The most devastating revelation comes from reports about tag team breakups under Triple H's creative direction. Sources claim his track record of handling team dissolutions has been atrociously poor, with the Usos breakup being particularly mismanaged. While the New Day's split with Big E received praise for its build-up, insiders say the follow-up storytelling left much to be desired, suggesting Triple H struggles with long-term narrative planning. Industry analysts are now questioning whether Triple H's NXT success was an anomaly rather than proof of his main roster capabilities. The smaller scale and different audience expectations of NXT may have masked creative limitations that become glaring under the pressure of WWE's massive operation. Sources familiar with television production claim the transition from developmental programming to mainstream entertainment has exposed significant gaps in Triple H's skill set. The Ronda Rousey situation adds another layer of complexity to this unfolding drama. The former UFC champion's recent interviews have been scathing in their criticism of WWE's internal culture, describing the company as a chaotic show on the inside. Her revelation that all her friends were released from the company paints a picture of systematic talent purges that may have eliminated voices of dissent, rather than addressing underlying problems. It was a lot of needless anxiety and things like that, and the whole company was just a chaotic show on the inside, and then they ended up dropping all my friends. So I really have no reason to go back, Rousey stated. Industry insiders claim her comments reflect broader sentiment among former talent who feel Triple H's regime has become increasingly authoritarian and less collaborative than initially promised. The constitutional implications extend beyond individual careers to the very foundation of WWE's business model. If top-tier talent like AJ Styles are questioning their futures with the company, and if family members are publicly criticizing creative decisions, it suggests a breakdown in the traditional wrestler-management relationship that has sustained the industry for decades. What's coming next could determine whether Triple H's WWE survives this crisis or becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked creative power. Sources close to the situation claim emergency meetings are being held at WWE headquarters, with corporate executives reportedly questioning whether Triple H's creative vision aligns with the company's long-term business objectives. The most immediate concern involves talent retention. If established stars like AJ Styles continue feeling undervalued, and if their families continue speaking out publicly, it could trigger an exodus that would devastate WWE's roster depth. Industry insiders suggest several other wrestlers are privately considering their options, waiting to see how the company responds to the current crisis. The unresolved tension surrounding these backstage conflicts means we're likely just seeing the beginning of this story, with more talent contracts coming up for renewal and social media providing platforms for immediate public criticism. Triple H's creative regime faces unprecedented scrutiny from both internal and external sources. The silence from WWE's corporate leadership speaks volumes about the severity of this situation in an era where companies typically respond quickly to public relations crises. The lack of official statements suggests either panic or strategic calculation, neither of which bodes well for Triple H's long-term prospects as creative director. The wrestling world is watching, waiting to see whether the game can adapt his strategy or if this will be the beginning of the end for his creative empire. One thing's certain, the next few months will determine whether Triple H's WWE represents evolution or devolution for sports entertainment.